All I needed to hear was Steven Spielberg made a new movie about aliens, and that was enough to get me to go to the theater. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I ain't really like this. I personally believe in aliens, and I feel like if this movie was real, the world is definitely going to go into chaos. But we are talking spoilers, so if you have not seen this movie yet, come back later. Disclosure Day is a movie that I remember the first time that I saw its trailer, I saw Steven Spielberg, John Williams, Emily Blunt, and aliens. You got me off rip. The concept of this movie I thought seemed really interesting, and based off of the trailer, we got the cool scene with Emily Blunt doing the weather, we see some cool alien technology, and it felt like this movie was just surrounded in mystery. What is happening? And then when you attach a name to this movie like Steven Spielberg, I had high hopes going into this. I really wanted to like this movie, but what I ended up getting was a movie with some of the dumbest characters, a boring story for a film that felt like it should have came out 10 years ago, and a movie that definitely did not need to be 2.5 hours. So the basic story of this movie is we have this guy named Daniel who works for a secret agency, and he steals proof showing that aliens are real, and he wants to expose it to the world. Emily Blunt plays Margaret, a meteorologist who has all these weird things happening to her. She basically has powers. We get this weird alien device, and throughout the movie we're trying to solve the mystery of why all this weird stuff is happening, and does every single person on this planet deserve the right to know what's really going on? Does the average everyday person need to know that aliens exist? That concept, even after watching this movie, I still think that concept is really cool, but the way that they executed it could have been done a lot better. So I didn't like this movie at all, but let's talk about some of the positive things because it's not much. Emily Blunt is by far the best part of this movie. Emily Blunt is my favorite actress. I would say that my favorite actor is Leonardo DiCaprio. My favorite actress is Emily Blunt. I've seen a lot of movies that she's been a part of, and I think she's been great in at least everything that I've seen. But in this movie, she gives one of, if not the best performances that I've ever seen from her. I thought all of the acting in this movie was good for the most part. Like Josh O'Connor plays the other lead in this film named Daniel. I thought his performance was good. I'm a big fan of Coleman Domingo. I enjoyed his performance. Colin Firth plays the villain in this movie. I thought he was also really good. For the actors, I just wish they had more to work with from a writing perspective, but going just based off of their performances, solid across the board. I love cameras. I'm a production nerd, and visually, at least when it comes to the camera work, not the bad CGI animals, but the way that they shot this movie was incredible. We all know Steven Spielberg, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, but his cinematographer, I think you pronounce his name Janusz Kaminski. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. This was a beautiful film. I wish they didn't show that cool deer to alien transition in the trailer. Visually beautiful, but after watching this movie, it's weird that they showed that, especially with how late that scene comes in the movie, especially with how important that scene is, but I love that. It was also a scene in this movie where Daniel made the phone call in the field and the cops pulled up to the farmhouse and Daniel trying to make his way back to Jane. I don't know if they used a drone and then somebody picked the camera up later, but this scene was beautiful. Like Daniel was crouching down, he was crawling on the ground, and the camera was still pretty high up, and it was following him at a smooth pace, and you see Daniel go around the fence, and the camera swings around the fence. Daniel goes up to the car door, the camera follows him to the car door, Daniel gets inside, then the camera swings around the car, and then gets inside the car, and it follows Daniel as he drives off. I had to stop myself from moaning. I thought that alien technology that allowed the guy to like jump into people's minds or dive, as they would say, so he can extract information from them. I thought all of that type of stuff was cool. We'll talk more about that in a second, but I thought that was cool. But for the most part, that's all that I really liked about this movie. I mean, it was moments here and there where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. But for the most part, I didn't like this movie. This entire movie, for the most part, is a mystery. Like, we get enough information about the characters so we can follow them and we can understand their motivations for why they're doing what they're doing. But as the movie is playing out, I feel like for viewers, a majority of us are like, what the hell is happening? Like 90 minutes of this movie is, what just happened? Why did this happen? Why am I doing this? Which is a very risky thing because the director, they're hoping that audiences are engaged and they care. So once the reveal happens, it feels like a reward. For me, I didn't care. When we get to the first reveal or major twist of this movie and we learn what's happening to Margaret and Daniel, it's kind of just like, Okay. Margaret's story at the beginning of this movie was by far my favorite part of this film. She had all this weird stuff going on. She's randomly speaking Russian. She's telling the police officer about his private life. She's speaking Korean or something like that. We get the amazing live TV moment. All of this part of the film to me was great. I feel like as soon as we got to the hospital and we were following her and her boyfriend, that's when I checked out. The other lead character, Daniel, boring as hell. His love interest, Jane, and trying to add a religious aspect to all this, boring, didn't care. It's a lot of stupid stuff in this movie. Like at the very beginning, Daniel and Jane are in a standoff with the bad guys, and Daniel and Jane, they escape. And nobody chases them. They just drive away. So y'all remember that scene I was talking about earlier with the cool shot at the farmhouse? During this scene, this man Daniel is trying to steal a police car. You telling me it's dozens of cops out there. Nobody sees this man trying to sneak behind this loose ass fence, making all this noise in broad daylight. And then when he actually does steal the police car, this man runs into a tree. I think twice. Outside of it just being a cool shot, what was the point of the crop circle? Like, I get it was the same symbol that was on the little alien device, but I don't feel like it did that, or at least it didn't show it at any other point in the movie. And why did it do it specifically around Daniel? Wyatt Russell is in this movie. I'm a fan of some of the work that he's done in the past, but his character in this film was so stupid, so annoying. His character was acting like a little bitch this entire time. And then that whole scene where they were trying to crush the phone underneath the car, that scene went on for way too long. The alien device that we see throughout the movie is pretty much there just to be a cheat code and help make the movie go along. Because it's no rules in this movie. We don't explain anything. That device can pretty much do whatever the plot needs it to do, because it does a bunch of different things. Like at the very beginning of the movie, Daniel is threatening the other people, the police officers or whatever. He's threatening them, using it as a weapon. The next time we see it, they use it as for diving, as they call it, which allows them to pretty much go inside a person's mind and kind of control them and extract information. I think all of that was pretty cool. And then later in the movie, one of the bad guys, he grabs the device when it's on the ground, and then he just randomly disappears for like 10 seconds. They never mention anything about it. We get no explanation on what exactly the hell happened. Also, apparently it can make an entire house, 20 plus people, and 2 fire trucks all disappear. And apparently it can power a whole television station. It can do whatever the plot needs it to do. The villain in this movie, I think his name is Noah. He doesn't use the diving power on Coleman Domingo's character until later in the movie for some reason. Because if this was real life, why wouldn't you just do that from the very beginning? And then at one point in the movie, Margaret, she finds Daniel and she helps him escape. And I get what they were doing. I get in the lore of the movie why this was happening, but it just looked really stupid to me. Like if you looked at Margaret in her eyes, she would help you see a loved one. She would charm you. She was showing people, I think, their daughter and their grandfather or something like that. And it just looked really dumb when they were walking, and it's like people would get in front of them and then they would just move. And like, I get what they were doing, but in terms of the movie, I think it only works if she looks directly at you. It was like 20, 30 people right there. She ain't look at everybody. Also throughout the movie, they were tangling Jane in the middle of all this, and then her character just straight up disappears for a big chunk of this movie. Like, I completely forgot she was even in this film until the very end. And then the only reason she shows up, she walks through no security, she walks straight to the front. The only reason she showed up was so she could give Emily Blunt's character the alien device, aka the cheat code, so Emily Blunt's character could power up the TV station. I don't even remember how she got there. And then we get the big reveal about what exactly is happening to Daniel and Margaret, and then we see why the aliens did what they did. And it's just like, that's the best way you can get your message out? To abduct 2 children, implant this stuff in them. Like that's your genius idea to get the world to know what's really going on. And at the very end of the movie, where they get the final news broadcast where all the videos goes out for everyone to see, it's supposed to be this crazy moment for viewers in the theater, but for me, I just didn't care. Everything about this portion of the movie just felt flat to me. We get like what felt like 15 minutes of random alien footage that we, the viewers, we don't really need to see. It's mainly for the characters in the movie, but that scene felt like it went on forever. And for us, the viewers, it wasn't even really anything crazy. This movie is already long enough, and for us, the viewers, all we get is a bunch of random videos of bad CGI aliens. And so in this universe, the entire planet now knows that aliens exist. And so Coleman Domingo's character goes and grabs Victor Wembanyama from the back of a pickup truck, brings it to the studio so now the entire world can see an alien in the flesh. The alien tells Daniel something. Daniel tells Margaret something. Margaret gets in front of the camera. She's about to make one last final announcement. And this part of the movie actually had me interested. I was leaning forward in my seat like, what is she about to say? Roll credits. This movie just didn't have that Spielberg magic feel to it. It wasn't charming. It didn't have any moments that I found myself rooting for the characters. I never felt any real tension. I wanted to see what would happen when the entire world knew that aliens existed. And we don't get it. Like, I've seen other people say this online and I thought it was hilarious, but people are saying that this movie shouldn't have been called Disclosure Day. It should have been called The Day Before Disclosure Day. As of this recording, Disclosure Day is projected to make around 94 million around the globe in its opening weekend. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a critic score of 80% and a fan rating of 74%. I feel like if this movie didn't have the name Steven Spielberg attached to it, I feel like the scores would be lower. I'm gonna give this movie a 5, which is an average on my scale. Emily Blunt was giving the performance of a lifetime, and it was all wasted by a bloated movie that made me feel absolutely nothing. For me at least, the mystery surrounding this movie and why is all this stuff happening, all of that stuff wasn't interesting to me after about 30 or so minutes. And they also don't really explain a lot of the stuff that we see in this movie. And the stuff that they do explain, I didn't really care. And this doesn't really impact the score that I gave this movie, but just some fun nitpicks, because for me, I'm not going to get too much into my personal life, but I have experience in live television production. So some of the stuff in this movie made me laugh. At the end of the movie, where Emily Blunt's character is about to do her broadcast and she's about to expose all of these secrets to the world, the crew is giving her a countdown. Hey, we're 30 out. Hey, we're 10 out. And then they start counting her down. And once they get to 1, that's when the bad guys cut the power out. Technically, in real life, you can ignore the entire countdown. They could have just went whenever they wanted to, but that entire portion of the movie is there just for dramatic effect. So when they do blow the power and the backup generator cuts on, technically in real life, none of that stuff would have happened because all the computers, the cameras, the audio board and all that stuff wouldn't have cut on that quick, especially in the control room. It would take a few minutes for everything to turn back on. And this particular scene made me really feel like a nerd because when I saw this, I was screaming on the inside. But my favorite scene of the movie was when Margaret gave that first broadcast where we got the alien noises and she freaks out for the first time. If you go back and you look at the trailer and you look at that scene and the buildup that led to that scene, they never give her a microphone. Nowhere on her collar do they give her a microphone. And if you've ever been in a television studio, they have shotgun mics and stuff like that, but that's not what you use during the actual broadcast. And then I made sure I wasn't tripping because at the end of the movie, during the final broadcast, I was looking, and what did I see? They gave her a microphone. But at the very beginning, no microphone. Sorry, I just had to nerd out real quick. But thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new here. We talk about a bunch of different things on this channel. What are you guys' thoughts on this movie? Did you love this movie? Am I tripping? Do I not know what I'm talking about? Or did you hate this movie? Are you like me? Did you just think that it was okay? This was an average film. Also, do you believe in aliens? And do you think the world has the right to know that they do exist? For me, I fully 1000% believe aliens are real. I feel like if you don't, you are very delusional. But I also feel like if this did happen in real life, oh, this world is going to burn and this world is going to fall into chaos. For sure. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Love you guys. As always, remember to tell somebody that you love them. Until next time, see you in the next life.